the deal, you guys? It is your girl, Fallon Favors. Yes, back again for another episode of the Baby Mama Chronicles. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, if you're new to the BM gang, welcome. This is a place where we uplift mothers, single mothers, women of color, baby mamas. We're dispelling all of the negative connotations and associations with the term baby mama, and we're rewriting it and breathing new life into it. So if you like what you hear, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. This is free game. You're not gonna get it nowhere else, period. Ladies, stop playing keep away with your baby. Stop playing keep away with your baby, okay? This is really kind of the premise and foundation of which the negative connotations of the term baby mama sits. It is kind of, the ideology that women have this control, this element of control once they decide to have a man's baby, and they hold, such a tremendous power, especially for the men that actually care, that want to be fathers and want to be there for their children. They hold such an intense power over the man in regards to his emotional stability. And women are definitely taking advantage of that, have been, past and present, and it's getting a little old. And I think it's time we kind of break it down, discuss it, kind of figure out, why are we doing this? Where does it come from? What reasons are acceptable reasons to actually keep your child from the father, and which ones are not? So let's get into it. So again, women are usually exercising their power of being a mother towards the father in ways of, keeping the child from the father, manipulating and kind of playing games as to where and how the father can see the child. Just all kind of coercion and different things that are maybe not even conscious to the mother. It may be something that's subconscious. And again, we talk about this a lot on the BMC, just as far as really trying to pinpoint exactly where a lot of this emotional reactivity is coming from. So it's something that we definitely want to look into. It's something that we definitely want to unpack. Now, there are a multitude of reasons, I assume, that a woman, or a baby mama would try to keep her child from the father, right? These are some of the ones I think we most typically hear. Having another woman around the child, super, super big one. I went ahead and said that one first because I feel like that is one of the main tipping points for a lot of baby mamas as it pertains to, you can't have my baby around them. No, well, if you gonna have my baby around them, then you can't see my baby, and that's a whole thing. We're gonna go ahead and get into that, but that's definitely, I would think, like number one. Having an argument or a disagreement about the child or about past romantic affairs between, the baby mama and the baby daddy, past issues, unresolved issues, any kind of argument. Any kind of argument or anything that would cause any kind of dissension just based on, not having the same point of view about something. And again, that could be either through the parental relationship or romantic. Anything like that could definitely cause a woman to feel like, okay, well, you can't see my baby because, let's say in that instance, this man, yells or gets a little bit too emotionally invested, let's say, you know what I mean? Or, just very passionate about what it is that's being discussed and talked about. Maybe he says the wrong thing, and then, that could definitely be a catalyst to the baby mama not letting the father see the child. And of course, not contributing a certain amount. There are some women that are, to be frank, bearing the brunt of a lot of the financial responsibility for the child. So, if a man is not maybe able to contribute what she feels or deems qualifiable, for the father to see the child, then she may withdraw, the right to be able to see the child based on, okay, well, you only paid me $150 last month. So no, you can't, you need to pay to play. Okay. You need to pay to be able to see your child, and $150 just ain't cutting it. It's just not enough. And so there are baby mamas for sure that are, restricting the visitation of the child and the father based on that. Let's go back and unpack some of these, right? Okay. Having another woman around your child. Now, let me just give my baby mamas the benefit of the doubt. In some situations, especially when you talk about having a very young child, under the age of 3, like 3 and under, 4 and under, even in some cases, I don't necessarily feel like that's completely out of pocket 100%. I do understand that those are the most formative ages, and because the children lack the ability to be able to properly communicate, effectively and efficiently communicate, it causes a little bit of an issue with being able to kind of really figure out what your child may be exposed to. So until they're older, sometimes it only makes sense to keep them close, friends and family and people that you really, really trust, just to ensure that there is no inappropriate behaviors happening with or around the child, right? So I kind of understand that. However, okay, most of you ladies are not necessarily making that choice or taking that stance based on that alone. A lot of it is pure jealousy. Let's just keep it real. A lot of it is pure jealousy. A lot of you women and baby mamas, my baby mamas, I love y'all so much, but we got to keep it real, right? A lot of you are so in denial about how you feel about your baby daddy. Now, again, y'all talk, I talk back. So I have talked to so many of you. Thank you guys for reaching out to me. I love that we're able to that we're building this community, that we are giving each other space to kind of like vent, because I'm sure for a lot of you, you may not be able to do that with your friends or your family. You may not feel as comfortable. So we really do have like that tight-knit community where we can kind of rap real. And that's the reason why I be having these conversations and having these topics, because I really want to try to get down to the root of it. And a lot of you ladies, you baby mamas, are not keeping it real. You are still heavily emotionally attached to your baby's father, okay? And also attached to the idea of what you feel your family unit should look like with that man. And it is affecting your ability to be able to parent correctly based on the fact that you cannot get out of your emotions and put your child first, okay? You also have to be accountable with the fact that this is the man that you chose. So the woman in which he decides to bring around your child or children, or the women or whatever, this is based on his discretion, but this is the discretion of the man that you laid down with and had a baby with. That's something that can't be ignored. It has to be looked at. It has to be chopped up, because you chose him, girl. You chose him. And you kind of have to trust, like, okay, it should be an element of trust there where you say, okay, me and my baby daddy may not see eye to eye all the time. Me and my baby daddy may not get along all the time, most of the time. But one thing I know about him is that he does not lack character and sound judgment. And I know my baby daddy would not have our child, our son, our daughter, our kids around somebody that he didn't respect or that wasn't respectable, somebody that, wasn't safe to be around our child. He wouldn't do that. And if you cannot say that with conviction, okay, then that definitely is a reflection on you and your poor decision making. And we got to just eat that. We got to, take that on the chin and take that for what it is, because that's really what that is. You know what I mean? If you can't trust your man, you're not your man, your used to be man, but if you can't trust your baby daddy, and again, it's really not your say. If you and your baby's father are not together, now we're not talking about situations in which, of course, you're in a relationship with your baby's father, you guys cohabitate with each other. That's a little bit different. Not a little bit different, it's a lot of bit different. You guys have, made an agreement to kind of, figure out your family situation. So him bringing another woman into the lives of your child is just confusing. These are for the women that know that you're not with your baby daddy, even if he still be smashing you on a low, or y'all have y'all little rendezvous every now and again because that's your baby daddy. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a man that is genuinely committed to you, either via a ring, either via a verbal commitment. It has been acknowledged in front of the family, including the kids. If it's not that, then you don't have any say-so, baby, or you shouldn't have any say-so over what woman he decides to bring around his child. It's not your business. And we're going to get into some of the things later as to what are some acceptable reasons that you would want to keep your baby daddy away from your child, okay? But this is not one of them. Having a disagreement with your baby daddy is not one of them, okay? Having an argument because you probably said some foul things too. I think sometimes we get so emotionally, again, involved and invested. We're women. That's kind of what we do. We really have to find a way to balance those emotions out, right? Because if not, we lead with those and we can't make logical, sound decisions, again, for the betterment of our child when we're in that emotional state of mind. It's better to kind of like let the emotions pass and then make the decisions once you've been, once you've had an opportunity to calm down. So trying to make a decision shortly after a heated argument you may have had with your baby daddy, whether he was right or wrong, because this is not a thing about forgiving or dismissing what he said, what he did, whether it was appropriate. It doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, it doesn't erase the fact that you have a child with this man and you are bonded to this man for the rest of your life. Even if your child, God forbid, something happened to your child, you're still going to be tied to him. You guys are still going to have a bond. It is cemented. It's done. So, you know, you might as well figure out how you're going to navigate through this for the rest of your life, because it's going to be a lifelong journey. Having an argument about past issues, that's not going to really suffice either, you know, because of course, if you guys maybe, let's say you guys were together during the time of your pregnancy, right? Maybe for a short period of time. Maybe you guys were together like 6 months in, right? And he leaves you. Or you find out that he was cheating on you, or you find out that which is really terrible. That's some really dog ass shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Fellas, please do not ever cheat on your pregnant girlfriend. Like, you could wait, bro. Like, come on now. Any kind of issues or drama like that, or let's say before you got pregnant, you know what I mean? You guys had a tumultuous relationship and then you ended up getting pregnant. Let's say there's just some baggage, right? You know what I mean? And you guys have an argument or a disagreement about that. Not acceptable, okay? None of those reasons are going to cut it, ladies. And a lot of you are leaning on a lot of those reasons as to why you're not letting your baby daddy see your child. Okay, BM, so now we're gonna talk about some of the acceptable reasons of why you wouldn't want to have your baby daddy around your kids, why you would be playing keep away with your child, why you would think that was okay to play keep away with your child. Like, these are some of the acceptable reasons, in my opinion. If the father has been physically or verbally, excessively, like verbally abusive to you as the baby mama or the child, okay? Non-negotiable, get out of there. You know, no, you can't see the baby because you're not mentally stable. If you're abusing me, if you're putting your hands on me, if you're putting your hands on my child, if you're verbally attacking me, I'm talking about aggressive, foul, nasty language, yelling, throwing things, maybe not even hitting you, but again, like throwing things around, flipping tables, punching holes in the wall, all of that. No, you have a problem. You got an anger problem and you need to sort that through, because you're not about to take that out of me and my baby at any given time because you feel like you're in a bad mood or something happened that you didn't like. So that's definitely an acceptable reason for sure, non-negotiable. If the father has addiction issues, if the father is homeless, or if the father has any kind of mental disorder, bipolar disorder, okay, schizophrenia, you know, it's a whole laundry list that you could probably investigate to really get into, you know, how the mind can kind of be shifted in different areas and cause one, to not be able to focus solely on being a parent because they have other things that they have going on, right? So that's an acceptable reason. And it's not a reason like, I don't want my child around you per se. You're dealing with heavier, you know, and weighted issues that take a little bit more than a baby mama's concern and empathy. That's not going to necessarily save that person from putting you potentially in harm's way or putting your child in harm's way, okay? So those things are definitely going to be some acceptable reasons why you may want to keep your child away from the baby daddy. If the father has an unsafe living environment, that's also another acceptable reason why you wouldn't want to have your child around your baby daddy, okay? Now look, I stay in LA, right? You deep on the east side? Like, where on the east side exactly? Like, where exactly? Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and even, I was about to say where I live, but you know, even more local, even more South LA, it's different pockets. It ain't even just the east side. It's all kind of different places. You can stay in the valley. There's some spots in the valley that's a little seedy, you know, and that's what's so funny about LA. If you ever come visit LA, you guys, y'all have to be very careful. And if anybody's from LA, they will tell you that, you know, you could be in one of the most pristine, beautiful, clean, birds chirping areas, right, for like 4 blocks. And that 5th block, there's no telling what you'll find on the other side. You got to be careful. You want to make sure that the living environment is safe. And it's not even necessarily just the proximity of where the person is. It's kind of what's going on inside the home too. Do you have people that are drug users? You know what I'm saying? Like pill poppers, smokers, alcoholics. Do you have people that are constantly drinking every single day? Do you have, you know, people that are coming in and out of the house that the person is living in? Is the you know, the baby daddy, I'm sorry. Does the baby daddy have people that are like walking in and out of the house all day? You know, is it a trap house? Is it a crack house? All of those situations would warrant you not letting your baby daddy see the child. You know, you come to me if you want to see the child. You know what I mean? Because you got too much going on over there until you have a stable place to be. The child has a bed. The child has a place to sleep. The child has a place to put their clothing. You know, the environment has to be safe for the child. So I do agree, if that kind of setup has not been situated appropriately, then I think that would stand grounds and that would warrant you not allowing your baby daddy to at least take the child over wherever he is. Okay. Another acceptable reason, you guys, like I was saying before, like putting a number on what a man should be contributing per month, that's kind of trivial and it's kind of subjective, right? But a man should be contributing something financially, okay? The moment that he finds out that he has a child, it can't be like, oh, well, I'm too cool for school, or I got a record, or you got to get up off your ass, bro, and do something. You got to get something, even if you are giving me $50 a month, even if you are giving me $150 a month. So you do need help. You do need somebody that is going to contribute financially. And so if they're not, that's going to kind of be a problem, especially if it's over a long period of time. Everybody has downturns. Everybody has had situations where they've lost a job. They're in between jobs. They're having a hard time finding a job again. If your man fresh out, you know, and he trying to get himself together, he may not have a gig lined up as soon as he get out, you know, from, you know, that in the middle of that transition. But if it's been, you know, 6 months to a year, 2 years, 3, and this man don't have no money and have not contributed financially, then that's something that you may want to discuss, because if he is not willing, then I still don't necessarily think that, you know, it should solely be predicated on that, but you got to start looking at what else that father is doing, what else that baby daddy is doing. If he's not contributing financially, you know, in that way, what else is he doing to compensate, you know, for sure. Another acceptable reason of why you would want to keep your child away from the baby daddy is if he is unreliable. Unreliable meaning, you know, calling and saying he's going to pick up the child up and he's a no-show. Saying that he's going to pick the child up from soccer practice or from school, after school or whatever, and he doesn't show up, or he forgets. Oh, my bad, I'm on my way right now. No. No, that I definitely don't play. That's probably the highest one on that list for me, as far as, no, you can't see your child because you're not ready. And it's no big deal. You know what I'm saying? I'm not chastising you. I chose you. I'm the one that, you know what I mean, decided to lay down with you. And so I have to resolve that on my own and deal with that on my own. But what you're not going to do is play with my child. You're not going to leave my child on the curb, on the bus stop, waiting for their daddy, and you not show up. So if the father is unreliable, if he is not someone that you can depend on, if he's not someone that you can, you know, when you leave your child with the father, you can call him and know where he's at. If you want to speak to your child, you can call and speak to the child and know where the child is, and those kind of things, right? The father has to be reliable. He has to be reliable. It's for the safety of your child, and no one can tell you, you know, how to feel comfortable when it comes to the seed that you birthed out of your body. Like, it's just a non-negotiable. He has to be reliable. He has to be reliable. So ladies, we're not gonna keep it long, but I just want to reiterate, you know, it is super important that you are looking at what it really is. And a lot of you ladies, if you will be honest, a lot of you ladies are playing keep away with your baby because you still in love with your baby daddy. You still are in love with the idea of having that family that maybe he promised you, even out of his own mouth, that family that you've always wanted to have. And, you know, you see your child, you see your baby daddy in your child's face, in their mannerisms, in their being. And sometimes that can get to you and it can weigh on your emotions because, again, like I always say, you know, I try not to speak in absolutes, but so many women, we are biologically wired to want a family. We are biologically wired to want to mother something, even if it's not our child that we birthed. This is why we can mother an adopted child, a foster child, a nephew or a niece or somebody that we did not birth, because we are naturally programmed to caregive and to take care of and to have a family unit. And so a lot of you ladies are trying to strong arm and force it, and when it doesn't go your way and it doesn't go in your favor, when you realize the universe doesn't work that way, God doesn't work that way, you can't force nothing. You're gonna be running into brick wall after brick wall until you realize that you have to kind of go with the natural order of things. And with you putting out that energy and playing keep away with your baby, not only does it, I mean, it's for obvious reason. I think anybody could see that you're going to definitely be damaging your child. I mean, if you can't see that, then I don't even know what to tell you. But not only is it damaging your child, you are bringing very negative energy towards yourself. And you are swinging that pendulum. You know how they have the thing about the pendulum swing, right? Or even at roller coaster, not roller coasters, at amusement parks, right? You see that thing that kind of goes like this. It's a ride that goes up like this, right? That pendulum. If you're pushing that pendulum all the way up with all that negativity, baby, that negativity is going to swing right back down to, you know, right back in your direction. And it doesn't always come back in the way that you think that it will. So you have to be very careful putting out that negative energy and sowing those negative seeds. Resolve the emotional trauma and baggage that you have. Because again, a lot of that emotional baggage that you may be feeling may have something to do with your baby daddy, but it's probably rooted in even deeper issues than that. You know, I'm an unpacker. I want to peel back every layer of the onion and get to the epicenter so I can figure out exactly what's going on, because that's where the healing is. That's where the answers are. A lot of you are so consumed with emotion and confusion. You're so lost, which is why you come to my page, and I'm glad that you're here, because I'm gonna help us heal. Like, we are here to do this together. You're not gonna have to do this by yourself, and it's nothing wrong with you. Okay, I give you guys a lot of stern talkings too, but it doesn't mean that I don't love you, and it doesn't mean that I don't understand. The only reason why I'm able to give this POV is because I was once you. I was once in your shoes. I was once that baby mama who was not thinking with her logical mind at all times. You know what I'm saying? I was never the crazy baby mama. Like, I was never that, right? But I definitely have moments, okay? I had human moments, and we gotta own those human moments, ladies. Put those behind us and figure out how we're gonna move forward in a positive direction. Your children need their father. Regardless of how you feel about him on a personal note, your children need their father. If he is not being abusive, if he is not in a, you know, very dire situation, if he is, you know, not destitute, and he is, you know, somewhat upwardly mobile and has a place for your child, you know, make sure that that child sees their father, okay? It is very important, and you do not want that negativity to circle back to you. And more importantly, you do not want your children to resent you for that later. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for joining me again for another video. Oh my God, this was kind of a heavy one or whatever, girl. Stop playing keep away with your baby. Hopefully y'all not too mad at me. I appreciate you as always for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. Let me know, ladies, if y'all can keep it real. I just want to know. Tell me the truth. This is an open and safe space. Let me know if you've ever played keep away with your baby. I'm just interested to know how you overcame that. You know, maybe you can share some of that in the comments below, and maybe the ladies can also feed off of that energy and kind of see if they can relate to any of that game as well. But yeah, y'all, I appreciate you. I will see you soon. BM gang. Peace.